Hi, and welcome to today's video. I've obviously made a huge mistake. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Sony yesterday announced the A1, and what are we now? 7 weeks ago, I went and sold all my Sony gear and bought this crappy old Nikon D780. I wish I'd kept the Sony, and then I could sell the A7 III. And I've had all my nice Sony lenses, and I could buy an A1. Just think, if I had the A1, I could get breathtaking resolution and image quality. So I guess all the photos I'm taking with the D780 are going to be complete shit. What am I going to do? So this is shit, this photo, because I need an A1 to get breathtaking resolution and image quality. This here, I think I've probably got that upside down. No, I haven't. I use this at exhibitions, by the way, and I'm not getting it out properly. But this print here, God, that was taken with a 24 megapixel camera. I think it's obviously shit. I have to throw that away. It's not good at all, is it? And I can shoot 50 megapixels at 30 frames a second. How do I manage with, what is it, 7? 7? I mean, I'm going to miss so many shots. Guess I'll have to get rid of the Nikon and go to Sony. Real-time IAF for birds. What have I been missing? I mean, this thing, hasn't even got pet IAF. I can't even photograph my cat properly. And a high-performance electronic viewfinder, which looks nearly as good as an optical viewfinder. Nearly. And then, of course, we've got the 8K 30p recording, 4K at some ridiculous, it's 120 frames a second, and all the other stuff, technical stuff, which I'm not even going to mention because I haven't got a clue what they're talking about. Hopefully you can tell I'm being somewhat sarcastic. £6,500, by the way, it's $6,500, but which should translate to about £5,600, I think. But of course, in the UK here, it's still £6,500, not dollars. As is always the way with anything from Sony. Yesterday I sat and watched the release at 3 o'clock UK time by Sony, and I watched it. Jared Polin and Manny Oritz were doing a sort of a live watch the Sony release video. I don't know if you saw it, but thousands and thousands of people did, and they had the strip, the chat strip there, and I was watching some of the chats come up. And I couldn't believe some of the stuff that's coming up, which is why I'm doing this video. Oh, this is great. This is going to be so good. Oh, thank you, Sony, for doing such a great camera. And all such comments like that. So I just want to do this video to bring you back down to earth. I don't need a Sony A1. You don't need a Sony A1. So my question is, who the hell is it that needs this Sony A1? Who the hell needs 50 megapixels that shoots 30 frames a second? I'd like to know who that guy is. Okay, I do know who it is. It's the 30 or 40 photographers who go to the Olympics and they want to capture the world champion doing the long jump, okay? And they want to make sure they get the okay. I do appreciate there are a few photographers around the world that will benefit from one or two of the features of this camera. However, I'm pretty certain that if the A1 didn't exist, they'd still be able to take some bloody good photographs. So I just want to go through a few of the points that Sony have raised, and just talk about them from my point of view. Okay. So, where's it gone? It's here. 12 megapixels, D700 photograph. Now it's not very big, but I promise you, you could print that at least twice that size from 12 megapixels. This was taken with my, it was actually the D800 Nikon, so 36 megapixels. Totally unnecessary, just don't need it. But again, 36 is way more than I ever needed, and I was really pleased when actually I changed from the D800 to the D750. It made all my editing and processing so much quicker, and saved me buying another half a dozen plug-in disk drives. So why 50 megapixels? I don't get it. If someone came to me, and they did when I had the D700, and said, I want this enormous photograph. It was a restaurant and they were next to a bridge, a really pretty bridge out in up on the, oh, what's the word? Anyway, up in Norfolk. And they wanted it printed huge on one wall of their restaurant. I did have doubts that a 24 megapixel photo expanded to that size was going to be good enough. So how do I get around that? How do I get a 50 megapixel photograph when I need it? Well, two choices. You can go and hire a Hasselblad or a Phase 1 medium format camera, take the shot, take the camera back, you've got it. Or what I did was took my D750 24 megapixels on a tripod, portrait mode, and I took 5 shots of the bridge. I think I did it with my zoom lens. So just zoomed in about f4, so it's fairly narrow depth of field. Just zoomed in and took a series of photos. I think it was 5 or 6 in Photoshop. Stitched them together, and I have a like 120, 150 megapixel photo. I notice there's something on the Sony website, pixel shift multi-shooting. Shoot 16 images and combine them together to get a really sharp image. There's going to be, wait for it, 199 million pixels. I think my computer would completely go up in smoke if I even tried to do that. Crazy. A few other things. 100 ISO to 3200 ISO sensitivity. Wow. Hey, look. My crappy old Nikon D780 goes all the way up to 51,285. Creative look supports varied expression. So you mean I don't ever need to use Lightroom again? And there's other quotes on there, I won't bother trying to find them now. And also, while they were doing the video presentation from Sony, saying about, I'll now be able to capture images I couldn't capture before. Really? Why? And I'll be able to use my artistic expression, and what a load of old tripe. Let's get realistic. Sony are producing this simply because they can. They've got the technology and they're doing it, and I'm not sure if there's some behind the scenes stuff going on, and they're getting the YouTube influencers to rave about and to do reviews, positive reviews about how wonderful this camera is, how it does absolutely everything, how it's brilliant, how it doesn't overheat. We've got to wait for that to actually happen yet. And how it's going to transform your photography, and I'm going to sell my A7R4 and I'm going to get this next week, and blah blah blah. Are you being sucked into some sort of marketing hype? Is there now or in the foreseeable future ever going to be a need for anything like this? Because as a professional photographer, okay, I mainly do people, so it's mainly relatively simple, straightforward stuff from a sort of technical photography point of view. And there are photographers who take a lot more complex shots, action shots and this kind of stuff. So, but do you really need a camera that does everything all in one camera? And let's not forget, my main reason for changing back to Nikon was the fact it's a proper bloody camera. You can hold the thing. It's not balanced on 2 or 3 fingers. It's got buttons that let you actually use the thing. Oh, and another thing, I'm forgetting where I saw it now. I can't find it. Anyway, somewhere it says they've changed the menu system, and it's now got something like a highly intuitive, straightforward, easy to use menu system. You mean something like a Nikon or a Canon? I'm not knocking new technology. I think new technology is great if it's used to help the end user, me and you, do something better. I don't think that that is going to make anyone a better photographer. It's not going to help them get better photos. And in fact, I really do believe this. I really do. For most people, a D700, the complexity of this camera, maybe I should rephrase that and say the simplicity of this camera, where I've got basically 1, 2, what else? Maybe the ISO, 3. I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't change that. Maybe 4 things that I would change possibly to take a photograph. 4 things. And I can get absolutely beautiful photos with this camera. Not because I'm good or clever, because actually I'm probably not that wonderful a photographer. And I can't, when I'm taking a shot, when I'm doing this shot, there is so much to think about to get a good look, to get the lighting right, to get the flashes in the right place, to get the background right, to use the right gel on the flash to get the pink background. There's so much to think about. I really don't want to have to think about the camera. I just want to point this thing and click the button and take a shot. The problem I found with the Sony A7 III, which compared to this thing is going to be a real simple thing to use, is that it was too complicated. There were so many options for every single thing you can do. It took your mind away from taking the photograph to, oh, what do I do with this? No, which one's going to be best for doing it? And it detracts from the photograph. Something simple like the D700 is, I love using it because it's just basically a point and shoot. I'll set it up for a shot, for the day, for the type of photography I'm doing, and I can just walk around and click the button, and I can give 100% of my concentration to what's in front of the camera. D780, a little bit more complicated, which in some situations, like a wedding where maybe there's low light, people are moving, and I've got to capture the action. Maybe some kids playing, bride and groom walking up the aisle, that kind of first dance. There are some shots where the D780 definitely makes life easier and does probably improve the photograph that comes out at the end of it. But it's a curve where the sort of 780 I think is pretty much at the top of the curve. If you get much more complicated to get better photographs, you then start dropping down the curve because it's becoming so complicated to get a shot that it then actually takes away from the photography. A quick word and then I'll wrap it up about one thing which maybe Nikon could get better on, and my hope is that one day that Nikon are already working on a mirrorless version of this. So they've got the viewfinder, the Z6 sort of using the live view. If they just put an OVF in, which is every bit as good as this new Sony, and just as a digression, when the Z6 came out, I did play around with it before I decided to go to Sony, and I must say the Nikon Z6 viewfinder was a lot better than the Sony, and therefore Nikon, if they can get it up to, if they can improve it even further, then it will be really good. I mean, I joke about an OVF not being as good as an optical viewfinder, but there are occasions when an OVF does actually have advantages over, sorry, an EVF has advantages over an OVF. Not many, but a few. So if Nikon can come up with a camera that is that sort of size, with these sort of buttons, that is usable, and preferably with a grip as well, already built on, a mirrorless camera, if they came up with something like that, which was simple, and no more than 30 megapixels, maybe 36 tops, the ability to downgrade that to maybe only 20 megapixels for some shots, because 20 megapixels, when I go to a wedding and take 1500 shots, I don't want 36 megapixel photos. I'd be happy with 20. And if they gave you that ability, that would be fantastic. And just to be able to hold something and use it as a professional camera that we've got used to. So I do hope Nikon does something not quite as crazy as that, but something which is a professional mirrorless camera. But I have to say, even then, it would be something I would need to think long and hard about before I got rid of the D780 and switched to mirrorless. I certainly wouldn't switch to the Z6 or Z7 at the moment. But as I say, if they come out with a professional mirrorless camera, well, maybe. But it won't be. It won't be because of this kind of marketing hype. It will be because of definite that feature I need, and that feature will actually help me get better photos in certain situations. And it better not cost £6,500. Okay, that's my rant over. If you're going to go out and buy the A1, brilliant, let me know. And please get back to me and tell me what you think of it when you've got it. And by the way, I so look forward to the life-changing pictures that we're going to see photographers take with the A1. How they're going to be so different. You'll be able to look at it and say, oh, that's a picture from an A1. I think that might be a long time. Thanks for watching.